Pokemon Generations 1 through 3 of mainline. Now, let us just put on flippin' Virtual Boy. Which, by the way, we only have 22 games on the Virtual Boy, and only 14 of them were released in America. Only 3 Virtual Boy games was released in North America, and not Japan. Because of how few games there are, is it really worth adding Virtual Boy to Switch Online? On top of the fact that the accessories cost $125 if you buy them both, as well as the fact that it's on the expansion pass. I guess the only real redeeming quality is that it's not limited to Switch 2, but that's not saying much. I am just baffled that Nintendo chose Virtual Boy over the Pokemon mainline games and a Game & Watch museum. Trust me, I can pretty much guarantee that Nintendo's going to be doing something big for the Game & Watch 50th anniversary, because it's been 45 years since Game & Watch's first release, and they still haven't done anything. Let's attempt to take a deep dive into why Nintendo chose Virtual Boy over literally any of the other better options. I mean, please hit the like button if you enjoy or agree with me. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell. Comment down below Game & Watch Museum if you want a shout out in the next video. Now, I want to start things off by saying that the guy narrating straight up said that the 14 Virtual Boy games would be added over time. Yeah, he straight up stated 14, that's it. And looking at the Japanese version of the video, only 15 of the Virtual Boy games are going to be added, and only 15 games of the 22 Virtual Boy game library is going to be added. Of course, I didn't really expect them to add all 22 since only 3 games were never released in Japan. But 15 out of 19? I mean, if Nintendo wants to add the Virtual Boy library to Nintendo Switch, it shouldn't be through Switch Online Expansion Pass. At the very least, it should have been in the base Switch Online. And because of how tiny the library is, it shouldn't even been in Switch Online period. It should have just been a big box game. What would be in the big box? Well, the cardboard version of the Virtual Boy goggles. Yep, $25 extra for what I think would be a $70 game for just cardboard to actually play the games. This is one of the most baffling decisions Nintendo has ever made. They're adding Virtual Boy to Nintendo Switch Online, and they're not including the entire library, only 14 to 15. I don't think I'm ever gonna get over this. On top of the fact that the Virtual Boy was just not a successful console in general. I mean, they didn't even sell 1 million units. Nowadays, the Virtual Boy costs about the same price as the Switch 2, which is, on eBay, not that great. And the games, don't even get me started on the games. I mean, they cost from $60 to somewhat $100. I'm saying that this shouldn't have been included in Switch Online. This should have been a big box game just for the Nintendo Switch 2 that just came with the cardboard version. If Nintendo really wanted to make the next Switch Online app, they really should have just made Game & Watch Museum and just made it base Switch Online. And from what I've heard, people have claimed Wario Land Virtual Boy game to be the only good Virtual Boy game. I mean, Tetris in 3D Tetris is on there, so surely it's not the only good Virtual Boy game. And knowing Nintendo, seeing how they released an NES, Famicom, Super Famicom, SNES, GameCube, N64 controller for their Switch Online apps, they're most likely going to bring back the double D-pad stupid controller. Yay! As if the standee and the cardboard doesn't already cost too much as is. Which, by the way, they're apparently required so that you can actually see your game. I could honestly go on and on. Listen, I mean, saying that I don't judge Nintendo's decisions would honestly be lying. I mean, look at the Kirby Air Riders amiibo, and now look at Mario Galaxy's new amiibo. All I'm saying here is that while it is a nice courtesy for Nintendo to do something like bringing such expensive games back, especially if the console wasn't that successful, it's really just a nice gesture. I mean, Nintendo is bringing the Pokemon games Chibi Robo and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance to GameCube Switch Online. The only real complaint I have, though, just boils down to three things. One, the Virtual Boy standee should not be required to play the Virtual Boy games because it's too dang expensive and even the cardboard one isn't worth it. Two, it shouldn't be in the expansion pass. I mean, it's fine. I mean, maybe that would have warranted the Switch Online standee for Virtual Boy, but I'm not sure it would have fixed the problem. And three, they're not even adding every single game. I mean, what's the point of adding Virtual Boy to Switch Online if it's not base and they're just not adding every game because of how small the library is? I mean, even the N64 has 333 games, and I think that's counting the disc drive games. At least there's 100 of that, and so it makes a little bit of sense for them to not add every single N64 game. But like, then Nintendo is just adding Virtual Boy to the Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Console, and they're not adding every single game. And I feel like the real meat and butter of the problem is because they could have done so many much better decisions. Like, apparently all the Switch 2 editions and even the DLC for DK Bonanza just hasn't been worth it. There's Mario Party, Jamboree's Jamboree TV. Apparently that isn't 100% worth it. I've heard that Kirby Star Cross World is fun, just not for $20. And DK Bonanza's DLC just doesn't have that much replay value. I think that the best way to sum it up is that this is just way too much DLC for now. If Nintendo really wants to make it so that they're warranting these extra $70 to $80 price tags, they need to make them actually worth it, like with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, that apparently is a really good game that warrants its $70. But if Nintendo is just making it so that it's just the same quality of a $60 game, just more expensive, then they're not warranting the extra price tag. They need to make that one change. I mean, that would probably help with the purchases of all this extra trash and accessories that Nintendo has already been putting out, like with the GameCube controller, Virtual Boy headset, the Switch 2 camera, which you don't actually need to get if you have your own camera. Thank goodness for that. The point being that so far Nintendo hasn't really warranted the extra prices, like the DLC for Breath of the Wild, it's just fine. And now the 4K upgrades cost $10, boom, $90, not worth it. I mean, it's not even that Nintendo should be aiming for quality over quantity, they should be finding a good balance. They need to be adding a trash ton amount of stuff to their games while also making it good. Now, we're going to be getting another Kirby Air Riders Direct, and based off of what we saw from the first Direct, it looks like it's just going to be a basic boy reboot. But knowing Sakurai, he's probably just going to make sure a lot of extra trash is in it, because Smash Bros. Ultimate is $60 base game, which is an insane value. If Kirby Air Riders is getting a second Direct that just showcases a lot more stuff, then it's possible that Kirby Air Riders could actually warrant the extra price, assuming that all of what Sakurai is planning to add is actually a good quality. Look, all I'm saying is that this is just a baffling decision that Nintendo has made. Virtual Boy, of all the things Nintendo could add to Switch Online. So if Nintendo wants us to buy all this extra trash, then they should be training us to want all the quality of these $70 to $80 games. And considering how bad the Virtual Boy was back in the 1990s, I don't think that the prices for the basic accessories to just play the games is worth it. It hasn't even been half a year since the Switch 2 has come out, and so far, not everything has just been worth it. I think that's just going to have to be a video I'm going to have to do, I don't know, the same 2026 June 5th is probably the time I should be making a big summary of whether or not the Switch 2 would be worth it at the time. So the end of the video went kind of all over the place, talking about some other stuff. All I'm saying is that the Virtual Boy, it's not going to be worth it. Don't buy the trash, don't buy the amiibo, don't buy all this extra trash that Nintendo's giving us. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Comment down below Gaming Watch Museum if you want to shout out in the next video. I will see you all next time. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Bye.